Man, been having some strange, strange recollections. You know what I mean? Sometimes, man. I mean, as time goes on, man, it's almost like, listen, since things are so condensed, the fabrics are almost consolidated right now, man. It's just weird. It's a strange time. I think they've been doing something with the fabric of space and time. I mean, I felt it for a while. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain. It's just like every day is Thursday. I mean, I'm not trying to be like Joel Osteen. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying time seems so condensed and just weird, and unless everything's like meshed together. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, it just feels like it's all compressed. Uh, and it feels like there's a fluctuation going on. Like it's hard to understand, man. It's hard to explain, but it would explain things like deja vu and synchronicities. You know what I'm saying, to some extent, because it's like, how could these people just be so good at this stuff that they can hide all this stuff all along, or are they just going back and printing it in now, like Mandela effect? But something I've noticed that's happened with me, man, since I started reading books and I started studying like certain history things, just kind of by accident sometimes, and then other things was more like I wanted to research that topic. So, I read the history book of I mean, at least one of them. I've read a few. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, I got reacquainted with my own ethnic history of the local tribes here in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And then growing up in that kind of multicultural family structure. You know what I'm saying? It's very weird, man. I mean, look, it is a weird, because there's a lot of bad blood. You know what I'm saying? With cause too, with cause. Like Moses, this dude was saying the other day that Moses was saying, "Remember the days of old. Remember the days of old." You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to look back sometimes and remember the days of old. You know what I'm saying? And they force you to confront things that were confronted previously by other people. Sometimes it might even be closer to home than you realize. You don't know who you're related to. Here's the whole thing about Moses. Why was he telling his people, remember the days of old? Because when the time he was sent to the people to remind them that they forgot their history, who they were, who their God was, who God was. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even know they were slaves. You know what I'm saying? And then they didn't know what freedom was neither. Because I mean, once they got freedom, a lot of them wanted to go back to slavery. We want to go back to sleep, man. Just keep me chipping blocks. You know what I'm saying? Cutting rocks for Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? I had a good cutting rocks for Pharaoh. Just like right now, even in the dope game, you see people. I make good money selling rock for Pharaoh. Basically, when you see that the CIA is ultimately the ones who make the money from that whole game, adds a whole new flavor to the matter. A little salt in it now, because it's like now you can see what it really is. Or you have a better perception of it. You got the right, yeah, you have the right seasoning. You know what I'm saying, to understand the game truly. And this is historical things do that, man. They season your perception, your awareness, your understanding of things. And then if you also look into prophets or people that have similar, you know what I'm saying, type of destiny, basically. You know what I'm saying, to have a similar job as someone previously, or or they come to confirm something that was done long ago. So it's not reincarnation, but it's something. That's one way you could almost explain it. Not reincarnation, but what it is a connection between souls. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it comes through bloodline or it's just it's anomalous. Because we do have to. Here's the thing: science sometimes leaves no space for just. What if it's a mystery and it's an anomaly that you can't explain? That's unexplainable, because it's unexplainable, because it's beyond comprehension by mortal beings. You know what I'm saying? Even though mankind is damn smart at this point, but yet still so stupid. because that's reading the history. You know, you learn things about like what's more important to a people. You know what I'm saying? Because to have, if you ain't one thing, if you look at nature, if God's the creator of man, nature, the universe, all this stuff, and you see how does he work? What is his you know, his paint palette? What colors did he have on this? You, if you look at his work, his handiwork, you can see some of the, you know, some of the skill there with the biodiversity. You know what I'm saying? Just like with people, diversity truly is the spice of life. You know what I'm saying? And we're all created kind of, we're all men, you know, mankind, but you know, ethnically we take on different traits of the where we're located on the in position to the sun, and that's all it's about. And then it's even goes into the water, the air quality, and the foods that you eat from your local land gives you your ethnic look. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, listen, if you let everyone live here in America for 1,000 years, they'd all start to look like the Indians again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in, because there was 3 or 4 different Indian tribes from different areas that came into this area, but over time they all looked the same. You couldn't tell them apart unless you was one of them. Like, they looked at the neighboring tribe like, we don't like them N-words. Basically, they don't look like us. They don't dress like us. They don't talk like us. They believe in different gods. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. But for some reason, dumbed down mainstream acts like all the Indians were like they came from one guy and they were all related and they all believed the same thing, but they don't realize how diverse it was. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even realize how diverse their own culture is sometimes. But there are some people who are very privy to these things. You know what I'm saying? And those are the ones who's plotted on ways to bring it down and then control it and dominate it. You know, and then it's primarily white that they want to come out on top. And then they really want to eliminate all minority groups. And then you can look into the eugenics programs and all their connections. I mean, that's you can debate with the facts, cause just like don't debate with me, go debate with the facts. Cool. Just like a lot of people aren't privy to, Hitler was in love with the American Indian extermination policy. So in love that that's where he got his idea for Final Solution. You know what I'm saying? And people don't know that the Indians were even holocausted. They lost, like, who knows how many people were lost in those days. There's no even real way to know. They probably cooked the numbers. You know what I'm saying? As well as the people. You know, the evidence. Unfortunately, sadly. But I also started studying into this kung fu and the martial arts. So I started looking at their philosophers and their famous writers and some of their it's like anyone who even writes on it and does commentary on it uses their different stories and parables too. So I mean, there's a lot of overlapping material. Or even like certain famous guys did writing specifically about another famous guy's it's just philosophy. It's just men debating about things, you know, using logic, a lot like the founding fathers. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's a decent way to go about things. You know what I'm saying? But it cuts you off. You know, it is a separation of church and state in a way of speaking, because you only want to pertain to the things that are logical and you can prove at the moment and be factual about, and no speculation. You know, which there's a place for that, but there's also a place for this other stuff where men increase and grow beyond exponentially just by having a freedom to think and be wrong for a minute and tinker and keep working at it until they figure it out. But a lot of these guys were very smart. They even pondered these same things, like Lao Tzu's talking about, you know, the man that knows his history goes into the future holding the reins of the horse. So it's like, but the man, you know, who don't, it's like he's on a horse and it's like a ship with no rudder. You know what I'm saying? You could be swayed any old way and you won't know any better anyhow. You know, you have no frame of reference. You know what I'm saying? And now I have this ability called historical projection. You know what I'm saying? Where it's almost like ancient genetic and not genetic. I hate using that word because I think of eugenics every time we even say genetic. It's like a cultural ancestral memory. You know what I'm saying? Is a better way to put it. It's been awakened, and you know what I'm saying, from me being. I remember. I'm starting to remember who my people are, and the things they speculated about back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And then you also, in this day with all this information out there, this is time is there's not the time is short. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna come a day where they totally cut off all the information, burn the books. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna come eventually. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna rewrite history in their own image. But now, I can just, uh, I can think in certain ways and I can remember stuff. It's like I don't even know how I learned it, but somehow the stuff's it's like inside there now that it's been so other people. Like I watched this guy Nick Dodge, right? I watched him running around out there, even just watching things like that reawaken some of those ancestral memories. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can put it. And it's like, out of nowhere, man, all of a sudden I can I could make moccasins. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how I learned it. It just kind of came to me. You know what I'm saying? From doing something else. And like now I could weave a basket. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even never done that, but I mean I know I could do it because it's like my mind's been like cracked open in a way that I can see how things what you would need to make something else because I can't go and seek out people who already know these things. So I have to compensate, improvise. But by learning how to do that, you actually learn how to do what you're seeking. But it's like and each thing that you can recapture and awake, it opens up. You learn other ability skills. It's just you can just think about practical life skills is what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about nothing sinister, harmful here. Well, like some things could be harmful if I learn how to make a tomahawk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd probably have it laying around because it's cool, and I like that. I like to create just ancient technology, bow and arrow. You know what I'm saying? It's like I learned how to make a little snare trap. You know what I'm saying? And no one ever taught me. It's just being reawakened to this idea from reading these ancient books about the people having little battles and wars and different. Like there's a time where it said that all the people lived in constant fear and trembling because there was so much war, man. It's like right now all the wars and rumors of wars and psychological dazzling. And the fact that people have forgotten their history, they haven't remembered the days of old. You know what I'm saying? And it really shows. You can see it out there how and the damage and the toll it's taken. And it's like, here's the thing: if you ain't got no rudder for the ship, let's say another ship comes, the tugboat, and it throws a little rope to the end of your ship, and you can't run away, you can't fight him, you can't do anything. And then he leaves you on the rope and he tugs you on down the road. You know what I'm saying? And then basically what I'm saying is all these, ships without no rudder are just out there just being carried any old way. And then there's people who know this, and they capitalize on it. And then they get them busting rocks for Pharaoh. Basically, I mean that analogy applies across the board. You call that a parable, the parable of building the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? All over again. It's been done over and over and over again. I mean, our modern pyramids are like that, like the Golden Gate Bridge, like the Mackinac